Ah, that was my bad. I had my mic muted. Right, so I guess we'll do that again. Sorry, guys. That's the second time that's happened on stream now, isn't it? Not good. All right, so anyway, as I was saying, we are here at Richmond. We are going to be flying the other way around today. So yeah, Calum, thank you. Yeah, I realized that I muted my mic. Anyway, so we're going to be flying from Richmond to Dulles today. Checking out Richmond first. Orbx did provide the scenery to the channel here today, and also a big thank you to Axonos, because they have given us a discount for all of my viewers here, 10% discount only on the Axonos store using code DrishalMAC2. I will introduce Innocent here. We are going to be doing another developer Q&A live stream. I've prepared some questions, but as always, if you guys have some questions, then please do let us know in chat, and I'm sure he'll be happy to answer them. So I'm going to introduce Innocent here. Innocent, you there?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yep, now I can hear you. Brilliant. All right, so guys, let me know if you can hear him, just so I can get all the volumes set, if you can hear him okay. So we're going to take a look at Richmond first before we fly up to Washington Dulles here today. So how about this? Let's take a look at these beautiful runway and taxiway textures. They've been done really nicely, really high quality here, as you can see. They look really, really nice. I do like the little details here with the slight cracks in the tarmac. General wear and tear looks really, really good. We don't want we don't want brand new looking taxiways, but they look really, really good. And of course, the main terminal building here is modeled really nicely. As we get the DX12 texture bug, we'll have to ignore that for now. But as you can see here with the lovely textures on the main terminal building, they look really nice with this brick texture here. Very unique. I don't think I've seen a brick terminal before, to be honest, but it looks very, very good. I like when airports look sort of unique. It really does feel like you've got a very nice custom scenery. Yeah, Calum, the scenery is really nice, and all of these custom aircraft here, these JetBlue American aircraft here, are part of the scenery. They're the static aircraft here, you can toggle that on and off in the Orbx central installer, and it's really easy. I'm not running FSLTL or anything today because I wanted to show off these beautiful models here. We even have some A220s, which is really nice. They look very good as well. There is full GSX integration. I don't have GSX, so I can't show you that, unfortunately. But it does have full GSX integration, and it is a very nice scenery. We'll take a look around some of the surrounding areas now. You can see the HC control tower there, very nicely modeled. All of it very high quality. The attention to detail is absolutely incredible, in my opinion. And Innocent, if there's any specific areas you're really proud of in the scenery, do let us know. We'll take a look at these specific areas.
Yeah, sure. I think there's kind of 4 main areas that I think the Axonos team is quite proud of. First area would be the entrance. So if we go all the way to the entrance of the terminal. Okay. I know the stream's a bit delayed, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know whether you're there yet.
Yeah, I'm there now.
Near the entrance, we can see the iconic Richmond kind of on the terminal.
Yep.
And the roads, and we have a nice road ramp going up to the terminal drop-off area, and I think it looks quite good there. We also put a lot of effort into the multi-story car parks. If you look carefully, we actually got you can actually individually see each different levels within the car park, and I think from the sky, whether you're watching like doing a approach or watching a replay, if you manage to see taking off from here and seeing the multi-story car parks with the cars parked on top, I think that's one of the main reasons why I like this airport. We also put a lot of effort in the regular car parks as well. So I know that some developers they kind of leave the car parks as default, so you can kind of just see the cars in the satellite imagery. But we've gone ahead and placed 3D cars on pretty much every single car park around the airport, and it just looks really nice when you're flying in the sky or taking off from Richmond.
Yeah, the car parks are actually something I noticed when I was taking a look at the scenery. I've flown in and out of here a few times, and it's definitely something you can notice. The amount of cars as well is really nice. We all know that airport car parks are absolutely rammed most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's, it's really nice.
Yeah, and we have one, I'm not too sure of the exact location, but there's one location in Richmond where they have a bunch of concrete meeting up together. It's kind of like a taxiway intersection. And what we've done is that we have multiple different concrete textures, and we have actually changed the orientation of each of the textures so that you can kind of see the individual tiles of the texture merging together, just like in real life. I'm not too sure exactly where it is in the scenery, but it should be in one of the major intersections.
I think I'm looking at it now. It might be delayed on the stream, but I think I've found where there's sort of different orientations of the tiles and stuff, different concrete textures.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
And yeah, overall, I think one thing that we at Axonos particularly like is making the wear and tear of the airport. You know, we know that most airports are quite dirty. You can see the tire marks, you can see the oil spills, you can see the dirt, the grudges on the ground, and we're trying to recreate that, especially in this airport.
Yeah, the wear and tear is really nice. When I check out some airports and there's just no wear and tear and everything looks brand new, I get slightly disappointed, but this looks very good. I really like the wear and tear. It just makes it look like it's the airport's really being used, and daily operations as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So Gabriella, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it is a very good scenery. Definitely do go ahead and check it out. The link should be in the description. That will take you to the Orbx store, but if you do want to get it on the Axonos store, then just in my pinned comment, you should be able to find it there, as well as a 10% discount code as well. And Beluga, welcome to the stream. Caleb, that is my Discord pinging. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about that. I did turn off notifications, but I guess Discord doesn't want to silence them, so unfortunately we're just gonna have to bear it on today's stream. Yeah, the
and I think another thing is,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that we got quite a few comments from customers that saying that they really like the detail on the roof of the terminal building. So you can see that we've done all the tiny ACs, all the tiny solar panels, the vents, and people also quite like the brick textures, which is something quite iconic to this particular airport.
Oh yeah, the roofs are very detailed. That's really, really cool. And I just noticed the trenches over there as well by the taxiways that have been really nicely, I guess, in the mesh. I suppose you guys would have done that, but that looks really cool as well. Lots of detail. Look at that. It's been done very, very well indeed. It's these little details that all add up and just make the scenery really, really convincing.
Yeah, but I think the most convincing part is when you're on the taxiways or on the runway. That's when you get to truly enjoy the texturing that we have done.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. The runway textures are just absolutely beautiful. They really, really are. Very impressed. So I think we're gonna go ahead and start the flight here, but I am gonna start asking some of the questions I prepared. So let me see if I can find them real quick here. And of course, guys, if you guys have any questions as well, do let me know. What are the key values of Axonos, and what would you like to achieve with the company?
Wow, that's a deep question right there. Those are two separate questions. So I'll answer the what we would like to achieve. So Axonos actually started as a freeware company. So we were making freeware packages for X-Plane. I think it was X-Plane 10 back in the day, and we were mainly focused on making sceneries that weren't done before. So especially in 4 or 5 years ago, there weren't as many scenery companies out there doing quality sceneries, especially for X-Plane. There was a bunch of missing airports around Asia, around Europe, around America as well, and that has been kind of the entire goal of of Axonos, is to provide products that have not been provided. And that's basically how we find most of our projects to begin with. We just look around the forums, we listen to customers, we see where flight simmers are flying, and we see what they want, and we try our best to provide it to them. So I think a key example is, for example, for Memphis, that was for X-Plane 11. Now it's updated to X-Plane 12, but Memphis is one of the largest cargo hubs in the world. It's the home of FedEx, and obviously at that time there was no Memphis, but Inibuilds was making their A300. We got the Boeing 777 by Flight Factor. We got the 747 Freighter by SSG. We've got the Boeing 767 Freighter version as well from Flight Factor. But that was just not really a huge cargo hub. So that's kind of the main reason why we decided to make Memphis, and that's still the reason why we operate this company. The key values of Axonos. I would say that the key values of Axonos is kind of providing value for the customer, and as well as just flight simming as a whole. We want to make sure that we're providing a product that people actually want to use and people enjoy using, and we hope that we can just make a flight simmer dream a bit realer and make the experience a bit more realistic for them.
That's amazing. And all right, so how much time and effort goes into making these sceneries, and what would you say are the main sort of challenges that you face?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. A lot of time and effort, a lot of money as well. That's gonna take a long a long time to answer, but I'll just answer I'll go one by one. So it takes some effort to start planning. Let's just say we choose a scenery. We have to make sure that enough people want the scenery, enough people would fly into it. And then we have to also make sure that we have enough reference material. So that would be either taking a trip to the airport or looking at images online, seeing how much data is available about the airport. And then we have to check prices. So sometimes I know for Microsoft, you guys have satellite imagery, but in Explain, we don't get that. And it's kind of an expectation that custom scenery, especially payware custom scenery, has satellite imagery. So we have to source this from our retailers. So that involves quite a substantial amount of costs, and we also have to buy licenses for whatever textures or for whatever software we'll be using. So for example, in Explain, when we want animated jetways, we have to buy a license from SAM and get that set up. In terms of how much effort, the effort really lies into going into the detail and trying to recreate something that sometimes might not be available in 3D. So we're basically just going off 2D images on people's phones or on Google, and we have to try to recreate that within Blender and make it as accurate as possible. And on top of that, there's just a whole range of different different things that we have to go through. So firstly, we have to model the actual building. Next, we have to go through the texturing, and then we have to implement the PBR, which is PBR stands for physically based rendering, which is it's what gives the buildings its reflections. It's what gives the building that nice, like realistic, bumpy feeling. And then we have to make the night textures, obviously. And the work just doesn't end there. After we finish making the terminal buildings and everything, we have to perhaps make some custom objects for that particular scenery. So, for example, in our Memphis, or I think it was our Perth, we couldn't just use our usual ground clutter library that we have made. So we have to rebuild some of the ground clutter to feature like Australia's iconic brands, for example, like Qantas logos on the ground clutter and stuff like that. And sometimes sceneries require custom jetways, so that's more modeling. And an example of that is, for example, Richmond here, all the jetways are custom. Once we get those out of the way, then we have to work on the airport layout. So we have to do some texturings, we have to make signs, we have to come up with the airport signage, the taxiways. We have to look at the charts. We have to see what ground markings we need to make. And the thing is, ground markings kind of vary airport to airport. So sometimes airports might have a huge sign saying, for example, in Munich, they have a huge sign on the apron to main taxiway. There's a huge sign saying entry November, for example, or entry 1. And we have to make all of this custom made for each airport. So once all the assets are made, including the ground textures, the buildings, ground clutter, the trees, and we get into placing and putting everything together into the simulator. And we use a special tool for Explain called WED. For Microsoft, we can do this in-game. And they basically have to place every single thing down. So every time you see something in the scenery, it's almost entirely hand-placed. An example of that, for this particular scenery in Richmond, everything is hand-placed up to the jetways, every single car, every single ground clutter, every single taxi sign, every single signage, every single pavement, everything is customized. And it honestly takes quite a lot of effort to do everything, especially when when you want to make it as accurate as possible. So that means a lot of cross-checking between airport charts and Google satellite imagery. And to be honest, sometimes we miss something, but we try to keep everything up to date. So if you guys find something wrong with our scenery, just do let us know, and we will push an update. That's exactly what we're doing with Richmond. We're gonna launch an update to Richmond soon. It's gonna come out in 1 to 2 weeks. That's gonna add some extra detail, as well as give the option to remove the cargo aircraft as well, and not just the static aircraft around the terminal. Yeah, so I hope I answered your question. I kind of
Yeah,
perhaps gave a
absolutely.
bit too much detail, but yeah.
No, that was absolutely brilliant. The more detail, the better. And I was just thought I'd show off the night lighting here, which has been done really well as well. Take a look at the scenery at night before we head off here. Looks very, very good. And the next question I had really was, how did you get into scenery development? I know you mentioned you started with in X-Plane 10, but what sort of caused you to do that?
I did start with X-Plane, and I just kind of this has been I've been making series for quite a while now, so I need some time to think about why I exactly got started like almost 6 years ago. I think one of the first few sceneries was a very small airport in Asia, and I think that's because I flew to Asia in that time, and I just really wanted to recreate my flight there in the sim. And obviously at that time, X-Plane 10 isn't really the best looking sim, so I noticed there was a lot of discrepancies between the simulator and real life. And I just remember I got a recommendation on YouTube. That was some really nice YouTuber going through how he made scenery for X-Plane 10, but this was more for Gateway. And after I took a look, I kind of got interested to see how I could kind of influence the simulator. And it was quite cool. I remember the first time loading up my first scenery. It wasn't the best looking, but it's just a nice feeling to know that you have some sort of influence over the simulator, and it's quite nice to see that you have made an actual change within the scenery. And I just want to make scenery that I could fly into for myself, and it slowly spiraled into something much bigger.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think we've all had that where we've gone to use the default airport somewhere and it just looks completely off, especially back in sort of X-Plane 10, 11 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, having these custom sceneries is massive, definitely. Especially in Microsoft Flight Sim, the default Microsoft Flight Sim airports aren't brilliant unless it's one of the handcrafted ones. But yeah, this just looks. I really do like the brick texture that you were mentioning earlier. It's so unique. It looks very, very cool. Hello, Shipped Up. Welcome to the stream. Yeah.
I think another thing is that the scenery in Microsoft is Microsoft has just a lot of better looking sim than X-Plane, and the default X-Plane is just it's not the best, to be honest. The textures are horrible, and the ground textures are quite cartoony in a way, especially back in the X-Plane 10 days.
Yeah, definitely. The having orthos and satellite imagery is almost a must-have nowadays in X-Plane.
Yeah, agreed. Are you almost ready for pushback?
Almost. We're just waiting 30 more people to board, and then we will be on our way. I started the boarding a little bit late, but we're almost ready here.
Is this the Phoenix boarding system, or are you using a third-party kind of passenger simulator?
This is just Phoenix, default Phoenix. I probably should have just done it live. Instant. But we're almost there. Then we'll just do our performance calculations and be on our way. So, obviously you develop sceneries for both X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Sim. What would you say the biggest differences are between the two?
That's a good question. To be honest, the workflow is very similar. So we always create the objects first and then put everything together. The key difference is in the object format itself. So let's just say if we make something for X-Plane, we can't really just pop it over to Microsoft. It doesn't work like that if you want to get good results. So it involves making two completely different sets of objects, one for X-Plane and one for Microsoft. And they have different objects formats basically, and they have different specifications and different textures. But overall, everything is pretty much the same. I think in Microsoft you get the benefit of seeing things in 3D and in somewhat of real time, whereas in X-Plane it's a lot more painful. The scenery editor in X-Plane isn't really that good, so it involves a lot of reloading and loading inside the simulator to kind of get the placement correct. And I think another benefit of Microsoft is that the rendering system in itself is a lot better. So there's more room to really highlight some detail. But needless to say, in X-Plane it's also possible as well. And another key difference is just the support that each different platform may have. So in X-Plane, we have a requirement to, for example, provide custom satellite imagery as well as custom autogen. For example, with our Perth scenery for X-Plane, we have hand placed a few objects around the city. We have modeled the city buildings as well. And for example, with Jackson Hole, we have decked out the entire mountainous area full of houses that are hand placed to match the satellite imagery. And yeah, but that's the thing. In Microsoft, you don't really need to do that. But overall, they're both pretty similar. Just have different customizations.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess most a lot of payware sceneries generally look better in Microsoft Flight Sim anyway. It's generally, higher quality textures, and I think that's brilliant. Same with the Phoenix really, compared to something like the Tolus. The graphics are just much better. Alright, so Calum has a question. I've been slightly thinking about wanting to develop a scenery for my local airport after my GCSEs finish. Are you able to give some tips on where to start?
Sure. So it depends whether you want to make scenery for X-Plane or Microsoft. To be honest, I'm gonna assume that you're talking about X-Plane because I started with X-Plane, so I think I'm more qualified to answer for X-Plane, not too qualified to answer for Microsoft. With X-Plane, I'll recommend just reading the SDK, which is the Scenery Development Kit on X-Plane Lemonad's research website. Just download the WED editor and just play around with the default libraries. There's also a bunch of YouTube videos that you can watch. If you send me a message after the stream, I can give you a few YouTube videos that I can vouch for, and I can also send you the relevant links and libraries that you can download to start. I would say that after you kind of get used to making default scenery, like by default I mean like gateway scenery, so using Lemonad's research libraries and stuff, then you can get into looking onto how to make custom objects using Blender and Substance Painter, for example. But I think these are generally a lot harder to use compared to WED. WED is really easy. It's kind of just it's kind of like making a puzzle or building Lego. You just see how it is in real life and just place it down. It's kind of like I guess you can call it kind of like an airport builder simulator in a way. And I think that's, yeah, I'll get started with WED first and then move over to 3D objects. But if you send me a message after the stream, I'll be happy to give you some direction and help you out for sure.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Hello, VSky Check. Welcome to the stream. All right, so we are getting our engine started here, almost ready for taxi. While I do that, I'll ask you the next question here. So, in the future, where would you like to take Axonos, and how will you continue to improve your products?
So I'll just answer the the second part of the question first. In terms of improving our products, where you can give me a message in Discord. I'm in the DrishalMAC2 Discord, so you can just find me there later on. In terms of what we're looking to improve in the long term, we're looking into potentially moving to making 3D interiors. The reason why we haven't looked into making 3D interiors as of now is because there was one airport in particular, I think that was Memphis. There was no 3D interiors in that one, but just because of the size and the sheer amount of ground clutter and car parks and cars, it was quite a performance hit. So we're just concerned about performance, but we're looking into optimizations into how we can potentially deliver bigger airports with higher detailed 3D interiors, as well as the ground clutter and 3D grass and everything else like that. Where I think one thing that we're looking forward to in the future is just improving our products lineup in a way where we're focusing on larger airports that people kind of are scared to make. So this may mean that we may have fewer releases, but you know, the projects that we're working on right now are one of the most popular airports in the world, and it's huge. It has over 4 runways. It's so big that they literally have to have a separate like kind of section of the airport that's completely man-made. It's kind of they built it off a reclaimed land, and this airport is actually located in near a huge city, so we're going to include that as well. And another thing we're looking forward to developing in the future is scenery packages, kind of scenery packages including the city, including landmarks, custom mesh, custom or satellite imagery, you know, trees are placed correctly, kind of like recreating what Microsoft can provide, but in X-Plane instead. Maybe with a bit more detail than that.
That sounds really
what's
cool.
The
Very
what was the
excited
first
for
question?
that.
What's the first part of the question?
So in the future, where would you like to take Axonos?
Yeah, I think we're gonna focus on larger airports, bigger products, basically, products that more people would use. And we are also, I don't know whether, well, this is the first time I'm actually gonna say this, but we're actually developing a helicopter for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the helicopter. I can't say too much details now, but we're gonna drop a teaser picture next weekend. But for this helicopter, we are literally going all in this. You know, we recently this weekend we went to the an airfield just to take pictures, to record all the sounds of the helicopter. So we got over 1,000 images of this helicopter, cockpit, exterior, everything. And we even hand flew it potentially illegally, but we managed to fly the helicopter for a while and get all the sounds in and record it. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the helicopter project. I can't say too much as of now. We're gonna release a teaser next week, and I guess you can kind of guess which model we're doing. But yeah, the helicopter is gonna be fully integrated into Microsoft. Hopefully, we can get some custom animations, very cool missions. What I can say is though that the helicopter is a helicopter that's used for firefighting. It's used for civilian. It's also used for military. It's also used for healthcare reasons, rescue missions, and the transport of patients. So we're definitely going to add all of that animation inside the simulator. So you can kind of, for example, cover up the backside, kind of like imagining there's like a ambulance kind of vibe when you have the curtains to protect the patients. You'll definitely integrate everything into Microsoft missions, and you know, Microsoft is coming with some really interesting stuff for helicopters with new blade physics and everything like that. So we're going to make sure that we include all of that.
Alright, well, that was a very, very, very dodgy takeoff there.
Yep. You almost went off.
Yeah, I was too busy looking at the EFB. The engine sounds were so loud there. I was trying to see if I can turn them down, but... No, okay, my wheels are definitely not okay. And I have no idea why the landing gear warning went off there. It's very strange. Alright, well, we are safely up in the air. It's funny, Q8 pilot in his last stream also had an issue with the Phoenix, so...
With the Phoenix, really?
Yeah, I did fly it earlier today, and it was fine, but of course if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong on stream, right? So... But I think we're looking okay.
Of course.
Anyway,
well, the weather isn't looking too good today.
No. The route is a lot shorter than I thought it was. So it'll be a pretty short flight, but that's fine. Looks like Gabriella
I saw you were trying to change the cruising altitude.
Yeah. Gabriella has a question. What do you think the future of flight sim will be? Do you think it will be more and more popular and accessible because of Microsoft?
Yeah, I think flight sim is definitely getting more and more popular with Microsoft. I think, especially what they're doing with Xbox, they included Microsoft Flight Simulator with the Xbox Game Pass, and I think Xbox has a huge player base. So we've definitely seen, you know, a huge increase in demand for Microsoft specifically compared to X-Plane. I think overall the market's growing. Just look at the data from the Navigraph surveys. I think we recently crossed over 20 million flight simmers or something like that. I can't remember the exact name, but 20 million flight simmers in the 6 years ago is just unparalleled. And you know, just from personal experience, I remember when I first started playing flight sim, I think I was like maybe the only one I'm the only guy that played flight sim, and now I know at least like 10 people that plays flight sim, that plays Microsoft or X-Plane. But I think what Microsoft has done is really brought flight sim to the masses, and I guess it works really well because now you have the barrier of entry into flight sim is not as high, and people, when they go into flight sim, they want to see nice scenery, and I think Microsoft has done that very well. And you know, it makes it more appealing to a lot of people, where you can kind of fly around, see your house, see your city, and it looks exactly like in real life. So I think, yeah, it's going to get more and more popular.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the same. It's with Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, there was a huge increase in the amount of people flying, and I think 2024 will do the absolute same thing. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the stream. So, yeah, this route is much shorter than I thought. SimBrief told me it was an hour, hence why I chose the route. But there you go. That's fine. And thank you, Caleb. Now I can set the cruise at 15,000. It's perfect.
What's the estimated flight time that the MCDU is giving you?
We can take a look. If I change this to... oh, we're only 70 miles away. Interesting. 1957 UTC. So, what, 20 minutes?
Oh, nice. Yes, Chris, it is. It's me. I'm one of the developers from Axonos. I'm not the guy that made Richmond, but I was involved in the project, so I can answer your questions. If you have any questions about Axonos or Axonos Richmond or anything about scenery development as a whole.
It's brilliant. Thank you very much. All right. So, next question here then. How did you get into flight sim?
I think I got into flight sim like most people. I used to live near the airport, and I just found planes really cool. Kind of just like how these huge machines can fly. And I wanted to be a pilot. Unfortunately, I didn't go down that path. I'm doing a completely different job now, nothing related to aviation at all. Um, Initially, as I said, I wanted to be a pilot, and then I thought to myself, okay, if I'm not going to be a pilot, then maybe I can be an aeronautical engineer or something. But that didn't work out. So I'm not an engineer. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a pilot now. So I kind of get my flying from flight sim, and yeah, that I use flight sim as kind of it's a nice break from my life, and it's kind of nice to just fly around and you know live the dream, as they say. Just not in reality.
All right. Well, I think that's probably the shortest cruise in history because we're going to cruise for about 8 miles and then we're descending again. So, very
Oh wow.
interesting. Yeah, a much shorter route than I thought. Definitely.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm Chris. It was nice to sponsor your buddy. I'm just like recently with Richmond, there was quite a few content creators that reached out to us, and we just thought that, especially the smaller creators, um, yeah, I thought that we could help them out by giving some sort of an exclusive content or giving free sceneries, kind of a sponsorship deal, and it'd just be nice to help the community out, especially.
Yeah, definitely. I know I really appreciated when you reached out to me and we have the discount code and all of that. So definitely means a lot, especially being small content creators. It's sort of sometimes difficult to get that exclusive content out there, to really grow. So definitely appreciate that, and I'm sure all the others appreciate it as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to if anyone in your Discord or community or even yourself have any ideas on further videos or further collaboration, the Axonos team is happy to answer your questions, happy to have a chat about anything, happy to share. And yeah, we're done to make another video or join another stream perhaps in the future. And yeah, we're just happy to be here, to be honest.
Definitely, that sounds really good. Yeah, I do enjoy these developer streams, and it'll be great to invite you back as well. VSkyCheck says, I agree. It starts with flying familiar environment, and that's where Microsoft Flight Sim is good. And those developing more aviating interest tends to go over to X-Plane for the flight dynamics and more detailed aviation. Yeah, and real pilots do use both sims, I've seen, for their own training as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, Kylum, European or UK scenery. So we did release a freeware scenery for X-Plane a while back for Donegal, which is located in Ireland. This scenery is completely free. In terms of European or UK scenery, we recently released Varna Airport for Crowd, and I think that's pretty much it for Europe. Before Axonos, I was actually working in another scenery development group that actually kind of rebranded into Axonos, and we did a few sceneries there for Europe, but I think those are outdated already, so I wouldn't recommend those for you. And Chris, if you're using I wish I could have Microsoft in general and could be able to buy these products from like Axonos. I only have Xbox and it's bad for MS. Well, Chris, appreciate the kind words, but I think a few people play Microsoft Flight Simulator on Xbox. I think it's definitely possible. So maybe you can download it and see if it works. A trick I can recommend is to get the Game Pass. So the Game Pass only costs $1 or £1 depending on where you're from, and with that you can just try out Microsoft and see if it works just for $1. Yes, Kylum, Vana, yes, thank you. we actually contacted Vana VATSIM like division, and we work very closely with them to ensure that everything is up to date and everything is, the locals approve it basically. The discount would last forever, so there's no rush. You can take your time with that.
Brilliant, that's really cool. And just sending here into Washington, about 40 miles out now. So that was actually pretty good timing. Just got one more question here, and then if you guys have any questions in the chat, then do let us know as well. And last one, so where did the name Axonos come from?
It's quite funny how often I get this, because Axonos is quite a novel name. It's not something that people would think about. Axonos comes from the word axonometric, which is the architectural term, and this basically means it's a term in architecture that means to project a 3D object, let's just say for example a building, a 2D plane. So in this case, we are projecting a 3D scenery onto a 2D plane, which is your computer screen, and we kind of founded the word axonometric, and we kind of simplified it to be Axonos. And I think it works quite well because it represents what we aim to do, what we're doing, and in the future, I hope Axonos can move beyond making sceneries and move into making city packages, regional sceneries, so kind of like Orbx True Earth, as well as making aircraft, and potentially moving into some sort of partnership with Tower 3D. We'll have to see about how that turns out.
That sounds really cool, definitely exciting, and I'm glad to hear about the helicopter as well. That sounds very cool and a very interesting project for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna release a teaser next week, so stay tuned to our Facebook, and we'll make sure to post the teaser in your Discord as well. Yeah, like for the helicopter, we're going all in on the details. We got every single screw, we got every single spring documented. We visited the helicopter, we got a bunch of pictures, and yeah. So could you explain more about Axonos and how they work? I got confused when I said you guys and saw Orbx. Axonos and Orbx, we have a partnership, and Axonos, we have partnerships with a bunch of other companies. So we are partnered with IndyBuilds, we're partnered with Orbx, partnered with Aerosoft, and sometimes the partnerships they basically work where we leverage Orbx kind of network. So for example, we sell our products on Orbx Central. So if you have Orbx Central, then you can kind of download Axonos products and buy Axonos products there. Yeah, but as a whole, if you buy Axonos products, you're directly supporting me and my team, and our partners do take a commission, but that's just how business is. We also work with Microsoft as well. But yeah, Chris, most of our, I'll say basically 99% of our products and objects are completely like homemade in-house by Axonos developers. And yeah, we are a small team. We're not as big as Orbx, clearly, but we try our best.
How many developers do you have as part of the Axonos team?
It's a good question. Well, Recently, I guess we can you can say that we're on a hiring spree. We got like 4 new developers that joined us in 2 days in the past, not 2 days, in the past 2 months, sorry. And that's because we're uh ramping up production for our aircraft, for our helicopter, as well as for I'm gonna call this our next gen products. So our next gen products are basically gonna be these huge airports that people don't really want to touch and haven't been made, but they're a huge icon in aviation, very big airports. And yeah, so these big airports, there's a reason why no one wants to make them, and that's because there's a lot of objects. Over, I think one of the ones that we're working on, over 500 objects in total that we have to hand make. So obviously, we need a lot of developers for that. We have around 15 developers, and we also sometimes have a bunch of contractors that we contract to make work, to make some objects for us. Yeah, but I'll say the number is around 15 to 20. But sometimes, the people can't, some of them are full time, some of them are not. It all depends on how big the project is and stuff. So for example, the developer who made Richmond for Microsoft, not the 3D modeler who made Richmond was actually, he's a full-time developer, but the guy that made the textures and stuff, he's not a full-time developer. He has a full-time job on the side. So this is his kind of like a side project, but in the end, we still get the work done, and I think that's what matters. So yeah.
Wow, that's a lot more than what I was expecting. That's really good. It's a bigger team than I thought it was, but that's brilliant, and it looks like you're growing as well.
Yeah, I mean, we did take like say that because I had some personal issues for the last kind of year or 2 years ago, and because of that, there was kind of like a hiatus in development. But now we're coming back and we're just getting started. So the thing about scenery development is that it takes quite a long time to get everything set up. As I said, the process is quite long. We have to prep all the information. We have to make the 3D models, and because of that, there's kind of a delay into how long a work gets, like from the beginning till the end. So for example, Richmond, we started work on this last October, so that's almost 6 months ago. That's when we first like started working on Richmond. That takes 6 months of work. So I think that you'll start seeing more products from us, from Axonos, probably starting from the next month or now. I mean, I'm quite happy with what we've managed to do so far, like two releases in 2 months. We got Vana for X-Plane, and then we got Richmond for Microsoft, and we got a couple of airports that are pretty much done. We're just retexturing some stuff that I believe that we can do better, and we're dedicating resources for a helicopter project for Microsoft as well.
Brilliant. So is there anything you can say on these future projects? Is there anything potentially you could tell us about them, or is it all secret for now?
Yeah, I mean, normally we like to keep things secret, but I guess it wouldn't be too bad to let the secret out a bit early. So with one of our projects that I think is going to release very soon for X-Plane and potentially Microsoft. I don't know about Microsoft because there's currently a freeware channel. I mean, not freeware channel, freeware scenery that's doing this. We teased this project in our Discord, and someone actually guessed it. It's a KHDN, which is a Hayden. Hayden is located in America, and it's a very small field, but it's quite fun to fly in. It's kind of like Jackson Hole, quite a challenging approach as well. And yeah, we're releasing that, and we're also releasing another American airport, regional airport. This airport's famous for corporate jets flying into America. And we have another huge scenery planned for Europe and Asia. The Asian one, I guess I'll give a hint. It's a airport with 6 runways, located in Japan. So I guess that's kind of obvious now, but it's 6 runways and located in Japan. For the helicopter, you're gonna have to stay tuned for that. That will be coming up next week. We're gonna release a teaser, and I think that's gonna be it's quite a popular helicopter. I'm surprised that no one has made it so far. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that one, and I think the detail on that, as I said before, is unparalleled. Yeah, Chris, one question for you, Axonos. It's kind of very random. Who runs the YouTube channel? Yeah, so the YouTube channel, if you guys actually have the time to go to our YouTube channel, we actually got trailers there. I'm quite happy with how the trailers are. We got quite a lot of views on there as well. But yeah, the YouTube channel is run by me. I don't make the videos. I mean, videos are made by our partners. Some of them are made by me, and yeah, you can take a look. I'm quite proud of the trailers and how they turn out. I think they're quite nicely made. And I'm gonna keep quiet now. I don't want to disturb Drishal while he's gonna butter this landing.
Hopefully. The Phoenix is really floaty, and I'm still not completely used to it, but we'll see. I'm excited for those future projects you mentioned there. Those sounds very, very cool.
How does the Phoenix compare to the tallest? Like, which one do you think is you feel that's more realistic, considering you're training to be a pilot?
Personally, I prefer the Tolus. The flight model is miles better. The Phoenix is okay, but it's very, very floaty. You'll sort of see here in a second. Okay, never mind. I didn't float it, but yeah, it's normally very floaty, so you sort of have to adjust. The systems are very good on the Phoenix, but they're also very good on the Tolus as well. So I guess it comes down to which simulator you might prefer, and go from there really. But the graphics are definitely much better on the Phoenix, and so are the sounds by default as well. But Tolus I fly in the Tolus more, definitely, because of the better flight model. It's really good.
That's good to hear. I also use the Tolus. I downloaded the cockpit kind of texture mod, so it makes the cockpit textures look a bit darker. And I also have the sound pack. I remember there's someone here in the chat. I think it's Kylum. Yeah, he's apparently from Mango Studios, so that's quite cool. He makes some pretty good sound packs.
Yeah, Calum is from Mango, and yeah, brilliant sound packs. In fact, on the Explain.org, the forums, my good friend Dom just released a developer spotlight on the owner of Mango Studios. So if you guys do want to check that out, it should just be on the main page of the Explain forum there. But it's a really good read, and if you want to know more about Simon from Mango Studios, then do go ahead and take a look. So this is the default Washington Dulles. And like I was saying earlier, very bland default airports in Microsoft Flight Sim. I couldn't find a decent freeware add-on for it that wasn't like 4 years old, but this will do for now. I guess it makes Richmond look even better. It's big differences between free and payware, definitely. We'll go into this gate here on the left.
Yeah, Kylum, I use a Mango Studios sound pack for the Flight Factor A350, and I think it completely transformed the plane. Went from a plane that I rarely fly into a plane that I almost exclusively use for long haul flights. Another question for you, Axonos, when you do this interview. So for most interviews or stuff, people normally just reach out to me through our email, or we set one up through Discord. I don't really just pop in to stream a stream. I don't want to hijack them.
Gabriella, yeah, absolutely. I can do reviews on the helicopter and the Japan airport when it's out. For sure, we'll hopefully be streaming them as well. Right, so we'll
Chris,
parked up
who's
here.
your buddy? Oh yeah, I use the KOSP one as well, the Tolis A321. Quite good.
Yeah, COSP is brilliant for the Tolis A320 fleet, and the A350 sound pack. Like you said, really does transform it because the default sounds are really lacking in that aircraft. It is old now, but sounds are so important, I think, and it just really does make a big difference. Chris, you're more than welcome to put a link to the channel. Normally YouTube automatically deletes it, so if it does it, then go for it. Hopefully it doesn't delete it, but you're more than welcome to.
Yes, Chris. Yes. I reached out to him. I was supposed to join him on stream, but unfortunately the timings don't make sense for us because I'm based here in Europe and he's from the UK. I mean, no, sorry, from the US. He's all the way in America, so the time difference was a bit tight, and I couldn't make it on stream. But yeah, I am we did sponsor his channel, and yeah, I think he's on a good path. He's not as big as you, Drishal, but
I'm sure he'll get there.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get there, and sometimes it's a long road. I mean, I'm not by any means huge, but even just getting the 1,000 subscribers really does motivate you and makes a big difference, to be honest. So, but we still have those huge streamers and well deserved, such as Flight Deck 2 Sim and Q8 Pilot, who are just absolute legends in the community, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that you hit 1.2k subs is quite an achievement already, and I think the way you got your tutorials for Explain Travel are quite popular. I even subconsciously went on one. I didn't even know that it was you. Like the tutorial about installing auto for Explain Travel, that was quite useful. So I think your content's pretty good. And I think it's going to get better, especially your social media game is right on point.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, that auto video really kicked us up a notch. That got just a crazy amount of views. I think it's almost on 30k now, which is insane, really. Had no idea I was going to do that when I was making the video. But yeah, just for whatever reason, YouTube were like, yeah, we're going to promote this video for you. And it worked out quite well, to be honest.
Yeah, YouTube is quite random like that sometimes. They just sometimes just want to promote a video and it'll just get promoted.
Yeah, YouTube, it's very hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes the video does really well. Sometimes it just doesn't, it goes nowhere, gets 200 views and that's it, really. So it's definitely, you just have to keep going. Even if you get a couple of videos that don't perform as well, just go for it, because you never know. Next video might be the big break, so to say. So yeah, all right. So here we are at Washington Dulles then. Completed the flight here. I want to say a big thank you to Innocent for joining us on this stream today, answering all of the questions. I really enjoyed that. I hope you guys really enjoyed that as well. And a big thank you also for the discount code. I think we really appreciate that, and I hope some of the people on this stream will buy some of your products.
Yeah, that's there's no obligation to support us, but we really do appreciate it if you guys can support us, and buy sceneries from us that you actually want to use. Don't buy scenery from us just for the sake of buying. You don't have to do that for us. But thank you for having us on this channel. I think it was an absolute pleasure being here and answering the questions, and sharing some insights with the community, and I hope I can come back here to a future release or something.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll definitely get something scheduled. It'd be really great to have you back. I do also want to say a very quick thank you to Orbx as well. They did provide the channel with the scenery here today. Chris, so you it was upcoming. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. YouTube sometimes promotes the stream, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm glad you're here. If you are new, then do hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future streams. And thank you to you all for being here. So again, big thank you to Innocent. It's a brilliant stream, slightly shorter than normal, but there you go. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in